Hello, my name is Chris Malone, and I'm going to be your instructor for DSCI 622, Modeling and Predictive Analytics in Healthcare. This course is being offered through Winona State University, and this is for the summer of 2025. I've been teaching at Winona State University for about 25 years. My background is actually in statistics, but more recently I have been teaching data science content here at Winona State University. And in particular, I'm interested in the applications of data science to other fields, such as healthcare. Okay, the purpose of this video is to go through the syllabus and introduce you to your DSCI 622 course. So let's go ahead and get started doing that. We will have a D2L page for this course. So when you log into your D2L site, you'll see this course pop up. I am going to be using this, though, on a somewhat limited basis. I have an external website that I use for the delivery of the content for this course. But in D2L, I will be using the calendar to help you keep track of when content or when assignments are due, And then also, I'll certainly be using the announcements here inside of D2L. So if I have announcements for the week, those will be popping up there. But that's about all that I'll be using D2L for. As I said, the delivery of the content is going to happen through an external site, which is at statsclass.org. So again, that website is statsclass.org, and you can see that for our class, you'll be clicking on the top link here. I am actually teaching two classes this summer, DSCI 622 and then another course for the Healthcare Leadership Administration program here at Winona State. So we're going to be clicking on the top one here. And this is my website here for DSCI 622. It's pretty standard, not anything too fancy. The top portion you can see is going to be for announcements. These are going to be the same announcements that I post inside of D2L as well. So just here I'm welcoming you to the course. And I have a couple of tasks that I want you to do here right away. Those include watching this video and also setting up an online account. The course content is going to be given to you in this second table right below our announcements. These modules will be released about 1 or 2 per week over the course of the semester that we're going through this content. So here you can see we're at Module 1, Part 1. There will be a set of course notes for that module, of course. These are not going to be PowerPoint slides, but these are going to be actually web pages. And then each web page or each set of notes is accompanied by a video. And then for most, you're going to have a homework assignment that's due for each module. The video archive, so all of the videos that I make are going to be provided in this table here. So as we go through the course here, more and more videos will show up underneath our video archive. Likewise, as I release additional modules, they will show up here underneath the course materials table. Let's talk about the syllabus for this course. So that's provided here near the bottom of the web page. So if we slide down near the bottom, you can see that the first thing is we're going to need student accounts at StatsClass. Now, these accounts are in addition to your D2L account or your Winona State account. And again, you need this for the submission of your course notes and also for your homework assignments. I have a video on how you can set up your how you can set up your accounts at StatsClass. Let's talk a little bit about the course notes. There's going to be a set of interactive course notes that have been developed for this course. These course notes are divided into modules and parts, and these course notes are interactive in that you're going to be required to compute various tasks and or answer questions that are embedded within these notes. So let me show you how that's going to work. So if we go back up here to these course notes, we click on our first set. This is what our course notes are going to look like. These are, again, web pages here. They're going to have content. Again, the accompanying video is going to go through all of this content for you. But then as you're going through, you will see spots where you can enter or answer questions. So it looks like these questions are going to be way at the bottom here. So here's a couple of those embedded questions. This one looks like it asks you to use a spreadsheet to compute the mean absolute error. So you would just put that answer there in that text box. And then there's a second text box that needs to have an answer as well. So that's what I mean by interactive course notes. You will have these open text boxes throughout your notes that you're going to have to complete. You need a student account so that when you submit this, I know who is submitting this information. Likewise, you need student accounts for the submission of your homework assignments as well. Once you submit this information, and if you go back and look at your notes, there's going to be answers, or my answers are going to be provided to you once you make a submission of your notes. So you can see immediately whether or not you understand the course content before moving on and trying your assignment. Okay, so let's go back. And each one of those modules or notes are going to have those embedded questions within those. So again, after you submit your course notes, the answers to the questions or tasks will be provided so that you can check your understanding. Again, there will be a short video for you on how to submit those notes. Talk a little bit about the technologies, because that is something that sometimes scares students a little bit, especially in a course, a data science course that is a graduate level. What we're going to do for our technologies is we're going to use Google Colab as our framework for working in either R or Python. We mostly use R, which is similar to Python, that allows us to fit some of these machine learning models that you're going to be learning about. Colab allows us to do this in a fairly straightforward and easy environment. So I know that you have your background may vary considerably in the skills and abilities that you have to regarding these technologies. So I'm going to certainly provide substantial support, okay, so that you are able to get through or use these technologies in this course. I understand that this course is not a course about using R, but it's more about the applications of machine learning and predictive analytics in a healthcare setting. Most of the modules are going to include a homework assignment, as I said. These are going to be distributed via Google Docs, and your assignments are going to need to be done in Google Docs. You can take those and save those into a Word format and submit them in using a Microsoft as well, so OneDrive, for example. But I'm going to give you those in Google Docs. And the reason I do that is our technologies also uses that Google Colab framework. So I find it a little bit more straightforward to just use Google Docs in this course. Once you complete the assignment, what you're going to submit to me is just a shareable link of your work. Okay, so you're going to make a submission of a Google document to me or a document on OneDrive, and we just need to make sure that that link is shareable. Again, I'll show you, or I have a video to show you how that is done, posted as well. So here's how your grade is going to be assigned in this class. You're going to have to complete the course notes for each module and part. Those are going to be scored fairly straightforward. You get 5 points for attempting to successfully complete those tasks and or answer those questions that are posed. If you do not do that, you're not going to get any points for your course notes. So 0 points if you do not complete that task. One thing about the course notes is there's no deadline on those. So you can just complete those as you want, as you go throughout the course. If you get a little bit behind on the course notes, that's fine. The submission of the deadline is until the end of the course. Okay. Now it is a good idea to complete those notes as you're looking at those modules and before you start the homework assignment that's been assigned for that module. It's going to be much easier if you complete the course notes before attempting the assignment. talk a little bit about your assignment. There's going to be two parts to these assignments. There's going to be a technical component to the assignment, and that's where you're going to have to go off and do something in a collab document. You might have to run a certain model. You might have to get a certain graph, etc. And then the second component is actually for your communication or write-up of those outcomes. So there's two parts to each assignment. The technical component is going to be graded as 0, 3, or 5 points. Okay, so 0 points if you do not make a reasonable attempt to complete the technical component, 5 points if you're able to sufficiently complete that, and then 3 points if you make a reasonable attempt to sufficiently complete. Again, I'm able to provide assistance, certainly on the technical aspects of getting the assignments done. The write-up component for each assignment is going to be worth 10 points. This component will be graded in a more typical fashion with partial credit given for partially correct answers. Clear and concise communication is going to be an important element of this component. Now, you can not submit homework assignments after the solutions have been posted. So it's important that you submit your work before the deadline for the assignment. So the way that stats class is set up is as soon as the assignment deadline is passed, the solutions are automatically posted. So I'm not going to allow you to turn in an assignment past that deadline. Obviously, if you see the solutions, then I can't accept your graded or your assignment after solutions have been posted. So it is important that you keep track of when the deadlines are and make sure your assignments are posted. Here's what the grading scale is going to look like for this course. 85% and above is going to be an A, 75 to 85 is a B, and then all the way down, less than 55 is going to be a failing grade. To be honest with you, most people get A's or B's in this course. Here's your learning outcomes for the course. So discuss the proper use of various models for fitting data, apply unsupervised learning methods and supervised learning methods, be able to assess the quality of a model, interpret outcomes of various models, and then practice taking outcomes and applying those into a decision-making or policy development in healthcare. I have provided here a course syllabus, a more traditional course syllabus that has some of our resources, etc. here in a D2L document. In a PDF file. I'll let you go ahead and look at that syllabus that's a little bit more complete than the one that I provided here for you. Okay, that's all I have then for our introductory video here for DSCI 622. I want you to make sure and reach out if you have any trouble getting started with this course. This course does last a little bit longer than a traditional course. I believe it's about 10 weeks, so I think we're getting done in the middle of July with this course. Students oftentimes will ask, can I work ahead and complete the course early? I do not do that. I let the modules go usually 1 or 2 per week over the entire 10 weeks of the semester. So course content is going to be released throughout the entire length of the course, and your assignments are going to be due as well throughout the entire length. So I don't allow you to work ahead in this course. So, okay, thank you, and make sure and reach out if you have any questions. Have a good evening. Thank you.